Hey guys, I want to give you just a quick warning. The following video is for entertainment purposes only. All the information is considered speculative and should not be taken seriously. I'm going to be going over some information, and it's just to provide kind of a platform for us to think about some ideas about Black Ops 4 Zombies and what we could possibly see. If you guys remember, about a month ago, Jason Blundell was at E3 and he did a presentation where he spoke about Black Ops 4 Zombies and some of its features and functions. Specifically, he went over the feature that we're going to be able to load up some special weapons before we even get into the game. I'll let you guys listen to that part.
And then you'll also be able to select your special weapon, which you'll be able to upgrade and move through as you're kind of playing the game.
So for Black Ops 4 Zombies, whenever you're about to get into the game, you get to set up your loadout and you get to choose from some very special weapons that you get to use in the game. I don't know if you guys remember, but from the May 17th Black Ops 4 reveal event, they had a display there. There was a guy standing there with a cloak and there was a bunch of weapons on the wall. These very specific weapons here on this wall were not shown in any of the trailers. In the 9 trailer, you see the characters holding swords and shields and morning stars, but none of them match up to the weapons that were on that wall in the reveal. However, these weapons do show up in some of the art for these 4 new characters, and they're shown during the BO4 reveal, and there's also some posters that you can find on the Call of Duty website. This screenshot here was at the reveal, and this poster right here shows Shaw, and he's holding that sword right there that you see in the display. It's not identical, but you can tell that is what it is supposed to be representing. If you look at the promotional poster for Bruno, you can see that he's holding that giant hammer from that display. The other 2 characters, Scarlet and Diego, are holding regular pistols and dual-wield revolvers, and they're not holding anything from that display at the BO4 reveal. So we've seen 2 of these weapons represented in the character posters for BO4, and we don't know anything about the other ones yet. Before I go any further, I just want to reiterate that this is speculative and for entertainment purposes only. But what it's looking like is that these are going to be the special weapons that we put in our loadout, and it looks like they're representing the different mythologies that we've seen reflected in the statues for possibly the perk system. So the first one on the left is a hammer, and we saw that in the Bruno poster, and it definitely seems to represent possibly Thor, which is the son of Odin, and we've seen the statue of Odin, but this looks like it's a version of Thor's hammer, and maybe they can't do exactly Thor's hammer. There could be some licensing issues, not too sure about that though. But you can only imagine this as a special weapon would probably have a pretty powerful effect against the zombies. It might even be able to be a projectile weapon like you see in some of the Marvel movies with Thor, and it might even have the ability to heal you or even other players. All of these weapons show up under mythology as being healing weapons, which is odd, so I'm not too sure if that all matches here, but that's always a possibility. The next one is a sword. We saw Shaw holding that in his poster, and this looks a lot like Zeus's blade, and that's from Greek mythology, and we've seen a hint from Treyarch with their tweet that this could be one of the statues that could represent one of the perks. Given the mythology around Zeus, his ability was to be able to throw lightning bolts, so you can only imagine that this could possibly have some kind of electrical elemental effect. The next one is very tricky, but it definitely looks like both of these weapons go together, and the top part of it looks like it's some kind of chakram, and that is a throwing weapon from India. When trying to research this weapon, everything was showing up that, yeah, it was something from India, and they basically would throw it into like hordes of enemies. So I can only imagine this thing being thrown into zombies and hopefully somehow being retrieved again, maybe like a boomerang or something. The other weapon that goes with it is kind of strange looking, and while doing some research, we found something that looks kind of similar to it. It's a 19th century harpoon gun. So not too sure what's going on here. It doesn't really match the other ideas about mythology, but it looks like, you know, India and Hinduism mythology could certainly mix in a little bit with this. The next weapon is really straightforward and really obvious if you do even just a little bit of research into Egyptian mythology and Egyptian gods. This is obviously a staff, and it is representing the sun god Ra. If you look at the circular stone up there, that is topaz, and topaz represents the ancient Egyptian sun god Ra. Also in ancient Egypt, there are carvings that symbolize Ra, and they're usually depicted by 2 cobras, and you can see the 2 carvings on the left, and on the staff there are cobras as well. They're usually depicted upright and facing outwards, just like they have on the staff right right there. This Egyptian god's staff is not anything new to entertainment and games. If you guys have ever seen Raiders of the Lost Ark, there is a scene where Harrison Ford is holding the staff, reflecting light down into a model city of Egypt, and he's hoping to uncover the Ark of the Covenant. Ra being the sun god, the stone is used to actually project and capture the power of the sun, and I'm assuming that might be some function of this staff here, and it's got all kinds of other abilities. I wouldn't be surprised if we needed this staff to maybe uncover certain mysteries or Easter eggs in one of the maps. That would be very cool. This last one on the end is pretty small compared to the other weapons, and obviously it looks like you can hold it and maybe even melee with it, but because it's so small, it doesn't look like you're going to be doing a lot of damage with it. So it probably has some pretty powerful magical abilities versus having, you know, striking ability. But that is all the information that I'm going to be sharing with you guys about these weapons, but you guys know me, I definitely do my research. But I hope you guys enjoyed this, and we'll see you next video.